Welcome to the Tile Happy Hour. It is that time of the week. We look forward to this day every day because this is the time when we can talk about tile, stone, mortars, grout, sealers, anything you want to talk about in the tile and stone industry, design, development. And I don't talk about design because I can't match my clothes, but John Tedesco can match anything. And we like to welcome him here from the big island on Long Island. I was going to say
the big island of Hawaii.
I went to Long Island, so I don't know where I was going with that. John, welcome to the Tile Happy Hour.
You were crossed between the Big Apple and Long Island. You just
I don't know what happened.
Well, speaking of matching clothes, do you remember there was something called Garanimals or something?
I remember the name Garanimals.
It was clothes where I think it had like an animal, a tiger on one part of the shirt and the pant. Like it matched things up for you. And if you put the two animals together, it matched. So,
okay. Well, that's good. I they made it easy on me. A brand consultant told me to only wear black T-shirts. So
all right.
I'm just going to, I've started thinning out my closet to only black T-shirts. I'm not sure what that means. If that means I'm fat or pale or both. But that's just what I'm going to stick with because somebody said it looked good. You know what?
You'd fit well in New York. New York women are black clothes, big salads. That's if you asked AI to define New York City women in 4 words:
black clothes, big salads.
Black clothes, big salads. 4 words. New York City females. So that's just
the true question is, can I still wear white jeans?
Can still, if you're golfing.
Okay, gotcha. Well, this is, if you've stumbled upon this channel, whether you're watching on LinkedIn, X, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, we're here to talk about tile and stone industry. That's what John and I have done for about half a millennial. And, between the two of us, we probably can figure out what's going on in your world of tile. And feel free to ask us questions. Drop it in the comments. We read them all. We respond to them all, whether on whatever platform.
We do.
We'd love to hear from you. A lot of our topics for our shows come from you, come from the questions that you ask. So just drop a thumbs up, say hi, or drop a question, and we'll try to get you an answer.
Yeah, we have our staff. We have 11 people on our staff
I lost
answering
your
fan mail. Yeah, I got a little funky connection this afternoon, rather. So Craig, we mentioned talking about connections. We mentioned Twitter and X and all that stuff. What's the social media platform that doesn't exist anymore, or it used to be popular? Snapchat's still around, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's for the young kids.
I'm just trying to
not
think of
used
something
anymore.
Yeah.
MySpace.
Yeah, I was thinking if I asked you like a computer that doesn't exist anymore, you'd say Gateway, right? But MySpace.
I remember setting up a MySpace page probably 2001, 2002. And then I think I was late to the game then. And then a friend of mine, we were partnering together on a project. He said, well, you need a Facebook page. I'm like, what does that even mean? But now it's how I communicate with my mom via Facebook.
Right. What was the original name of Facebook? Wasn't it similar, but not exactly that? Facebook.
Yeah, I think
it was because
Facebook. It was created. Yeah, it was created as like a college social network, and
right.
It was a little bit different, but it's obviously huge now. Meta is taking over everything. And speaking of social media, if you're interested in social media and you're going to be at Coverings, which is, I keep having to look at the camera, April 29th, Orlando, Florida, the Tile Happy Hour will be live and in person at Coverings in the South Hall in the podcast studio. And we're going to be talking a little bit about social media and the tile and stone industry. And we want you
This
there.
is true. Yeah, we're glad. This is our third year that we've been invited to be part of the Coverings podcast studio, which is a big deal for us because, we get to break out of our shells. We're here broadcasting typically from our home studios, Raleigh, North Carolina, Long Island, New York. And once in a while we go on location, and sometimes we broadcast from Coral Gables, right? We broadcast from Inwood, we broadcast from Manhattan, and we broadcast from Orlando before. Hey, did we do a podcast outside of Orlando? Was it Atlanta? Where were we?
Yes, last year's Coverings we did our podcast in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So we've done Orlando 2 years ago, Atlanta last year, and then this year we'll be back in Orlando. But we've got something special. I think we're going to be filming on Long Island shortly.
Yeah, actually, that's correct. So we're going on location to Long Beach, New York, which is a phenomenal place for Long Island because it's on the Atlantic Ocean. The boardwalk is famed, and there's a development there that I've had the pleasure of being a part of. 3 towers, a property that's been 5 decades in trying to develop, and finally was able to be developed in a proper way. And myself and Tile Bar is glad to be part of it. So we're going to be doing live from there. So that's pretty exciting. And look out for that. And so Craig, you're talking about black shirts. So what's the opposite of black shirts?
White shirts.
Yes, but I'm segueing to floral tiles. That's where I was going.
Okay, well, that was a terrible segue, and I didn't catch on.
I know, no, I didn't.
As you can tell, this is a live show. We have no idea what the other person is.
No scripts, no notes, almost no thoughts, but it's okay. If we would talk about something else, we'd be screwed. So yeah.
So John, yes, the opposite of a black shirt. We can cut that middle part out. The opposite of a black shirt is florals.
Yeah. It's true. That's good. And the early use of florals, like in motifs, appeared, a long time ago in Egypt and Persia, right? So yeah, well, they use florals to decorate palaces and all sorts of places, right? And now we're able to bring that in tile, and like Islamic art use floral patterns, and in the tile industry, we're able to recreate nature on tile in kind of firing it on tile and sort of in a crude way kind of printing it on tile. Let's just say that it's really not exactly how it works. Or in mosaics, you can make flowers, right? So there's a bunch of ways of doing it. And we're really happy about showing you some of the things that we have. So one of the new lines we have, maybe we could pull it up.
John, what was the topic? I mean, we talked about a topic like this where we're talking about bringing the floral inside, and there was a word you used, and I can't remember. What do you remember? What I was talking about? Yeah, like greenification, but that's not it.
No. It's halfway in my mouth right now, and I can't get to it. With a fill, like something, not philanthropic, but we'll get it. It'll come to me later on today. But I remember you saying I learned something today, and I knew it, and now I forgot it, so I need to relearn it. Philo something. Philo. Oh my God. Anyway, so speaking about funky words, we got Wakana, and the Wakana. What makes the Wakana collection is it's like delicate, it's beautiful, and it's kind of like a traditional Japanese printmaking kind of style.
It reminds me of wallpaper.
Yes. And I'm actually looking at the description. It says Wakana collection makes the delicate beauty of traditional Japanese printmaking and painting available in durable porcelain. So yes, when I think of printing, I think of biophilic is the word.
Biophilic, yes. It just came. I was typing it into AI.
I was reading the website, and it just came to me from back here. Biophilic, yes.
That's good. Well, you are older than I am, so biophilic, yes. the broader human tendency or philosophy and the practical application of spaces. So,
Say it again.
Depending on the context, the broader human tendency or philosophy or biophilic design is the practical application in spaces.
Okay.
And
So I guess
that's bringing the outdoors in. That
right.
was kind of the prompt.
The practical part is kind of the natural part, I think, is what they're talking. And if you look at this product, super nice. I mean, really, really nice. Now, what's cool about it is that it's 24.
I feel like it's going to have a short lifespan, though.
No, it's not, and I'll tell you why. Because florals are timeless. What could go in and out of style is using a lot of it. Here's a picture of a whole bathroom, right? And maybe it will be popular. Like there was a time where glass tile, and still popular, but glass tile, you do your whole bathroom in glass. Now glasses maybe evolve to a feature wall or a border, sometimes a whole bathroom. Now, what's cool about this product is you mentioned wallpaper, and when you think of tile in general, most people immediately think of like a tile you could hold in your hand, like something that's small when you think of tiles. Right. In the industry, when you say tile, it could be a 5 foot by 10 foot porcelain tile. It could be a 1 by 1 mosaic. But what makes this really cool is that it's a tile, but it's almost like wallpaper because it's big. Right? Look at that size.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, these are these 24 by 48s? Yeah. Which, I mean, and we talk about this a lot. So fast forward, if you're listening to this, tiles just keep getting bigger. When I started in the industry, the 12 by 12s were the common ones, and 12 by 24 were the big tiles.
Right.
John, when he started, it was probably 6 by 6 and 8 by 8.
When I started it when I was in Tunisia as a baby, it was handmade in the backyard. Truly, when I was in the industry, when I started in the industry, and I started super young, 4 1/4 tile was a basic bathroom tile in a residential house. I mean, now it's kind of still used in some commercial spaces, but not even really as much. But 4 1/4 tile.
Yeah.
I guess you think it's still being used because you go into these buildings, a lot of them are public buildings or commercial buildings where they have no need to be aesthetically up to date. And if the green tile is not leaking, they're going to keep it. So you think of, a bathroom in a school, right?
That's right.
Public school, right? And you think of those tiles. And if it's working, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. Actually, I'd love to know the numbers on that, Craig. Like how much market share does 4 1/4 or 4-inch tiles have in the tile industry, what it used to be? I'd love to see those numbers.
I don't have any idea, but I know Dow Tile has sold a mint in 4 1/4 tile. I was looking at them the other day just to see where, kind of just comparing numbers. Do you know about where Dow Tile finished up in sales last year, 2024?
Billions of dollars. You're talking how much? Dollars? $3 billion.
That's very good. That is it. It was a hair shy of $3 billion.
Oh, really? Okay.
That is that's a lot of tile.
That's a lot of freaking tile.
That's a lot of tile. But you're right. There's so much of it out there installed, and why replace it if there's nothing wrong with it? And when I think of, and this is no knock on Dow Tile's got amazing products too. But when I think of government buildings, I think of blank slates. It's white tile, gray floor, white tile, gray floor. And they do that for a reason, because it lasts forever and you don't have to change it. Maybe you just spruce up the space with some paint and leave the white tile and the gray floor. And there's got to be millions of square feet of white 4 1/4 tile and gray 2 by 2 or gray 12 by 12 floors that they can't, they want to change it, but they can't come up with a good reason.
Yeah, exactly. And we talk about that $3 billion. $3 billion, let's say, of not everything they sell is 4 by 4 tile, but let's just say a significant part is at a product that, let's just throw a number out, at $5 a foot, and here the Wakana is 7 times the price. So think of how many square feet, right? So $3 billion of Wakana is a lot less square feet, 7 times less square feet than a 4x4 tile. So when you're talking dollars and equate it to square feet, it's just mind blowing. But if you're an architect, you're doing a building, there's no reason to do something aesthetically pleasing. You just don't care, let's say, because there are ways of
performance. You're looking for backup house performance or whatever.
Exactly. And it's nice to see, and there's a lot of this going on, buildings or projects that don't have the need to have any biophilic kind of, ideas or philosophies or symbolisms or any type of things that you want to use in your building. But some architects or building owners or people in charge may say, why can't we make something feel better, look nicer, and maybe we can get something at a similar price and or introduce, like this tile, not cheap, but let's do one wall. You have a huge picture of public bathroom with 4x4 tile. You need that could fit 20, 30 people. If you could take one wall and put this type of product on it, just when you enter or when you leave and you see this, it's money well spent. So I'm hoping, and I see that with my clients, architects and designers in certain projects, do that.
Well, the thing is, it's dividing up that budget. You've got a design budget. Say it's $1 million for your project. And once you buy out the necessities, now it's a chance to throw in your personality. A lot of times that's in the lobby. They're gonna put a style piece in the lobby. And if you've got money left over, like you said, maybe on the wall opposite the toilets, you're gonna put a style piece, and finding those points of flair that puts your fingerprint on that job as a designer. That's money well spent, because once again, it makes for a better working or living place when you're in the space and you're using the space. I mean, how nice is it when you go to a renovated airport or something like that, and you remember the old airport where it was just, they literally probably cleaned it with a hose, but now it's upgraded. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel better about maybe your hometown or your home airport or whatever government building you're in. And I think, yes, this is an expensive tile, but if you're only doing a wall behind a desk, in the grand schemes of a project, the cost is minute.
Right. It takes just a little creativity. It takes a little bit of a desire. Here's a way to cut this tile price in half. So picture a commercial bathroom with a bank of 10 sinks with a big mirror. The whole wall is mirrored. You put it on the opposite wall, so you see it when you see the tile when you're walking to the left, and then you look in the mirror and you see it again. It's almost like 2 walls tiled.
That is a good design trick. Hey, for all your design tricks and budget savings, and send an email to John Tedesco.
Yeah. So when I'm budgeting a job, they're like, wait, John, how'd you come up with these numbers? They look fake. Well, I was kind of factoring in that the mirror was also tile and bring the average cost down.
I bet you probably don't get credit for that sale though.
No. I could try.
We've got some other floral things. This one's been out for a minute, I think.
Yeah, Paula Peroy, she's dynamic. She's really good, and definitely, I don't think ever wears a black shirt. She's always very colorful, and she has a lot of European influence in what she designs, and this is very botanical, right? And
this is a lot more out there floral. I mean, the other series, the Wakana, was kind of muted. This is like in your face floral.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely the floral designs are it's not minimalistic or abstract. They're really like super large.
I would have named this one Monet.
Yeah, right.
You're impressed. From Raleigh, North Carolina, I know who Monet is, right?
Yes, that's that champagne, right? Isn't that the bottle of champagne, Monet?
The Monet. I think it was a poster I saw in the Spencer's Gifts.
I'm impressed. Yeah, so graphics are large here.
Yeah, wow.
Colors are bold. This is certainly a statement piece. I just did a project in New York, the development, and we use this on a fireplace wall in the public space. So picture a lobby with a fireplace, and one of these florals was used, like the one on the right. It's kind of that black and white one.
This
It
one?
was, yeah. If you check my socials, it's on there. And there's a fireplace. It's like a two-sided fireplace, I believe, and one whole side is all. Maybe it wasn't a two-sided fireplace, but it was a whole wall of this product, and looked like it was really the centerpiece of this whole lobby area, and it was tile. And that actually was an inexpensive thing, because even though it's an expensive tile per square foot, but you needed so little of it. Maybe it was 12, 15 feet wide by 9 feet tall. It wasn't like the whole room, but it was the centerpiece of the room. And it did frame the fireplace really, really nicely. So the difference with this compared to the previous series, the Wakana, the graphics are larger, the colors are bold, but the same applications possibly, just as an accent wall. Just depends on how bold you want to be. And if you see there how big that is with her standing next to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think she's incredibly short, but that tile is just, those are 4 tiles put together. Okay.
She's holding them together as she stands there.
Right. Yeah. I was for a minute thinking that's one tile. No. So what you're looking at,
you can see the joint here. So it's actually a pattern.
It is a pattern that connect, and what you're looking at is 4 pieces of tile.
That's 8 pieces of tile.
That's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, really? Okay.
I think it's 4 on the bottom and 4 on the top.
Well, which one you look at? I'm looking at like the rainforest.
I'm looking at the one that's highlighted.
Yeah. Okay.
One in the middle. Now this one's only 2 pieces.
Got it.
But this one's a whole scene. So that's 2, 4, 6. I mean, that's an 8 foot by 8 foot mural right there.
Yeah, it's really nice. Really, really nice. So because the tile has some dimension to it, even though it's a porcelain tile, it's really rated for the walls only.
Right.
And it's not because the porcelain is not strong. It's this glazing on the surface. We kind of put some 3-dimensional aspects to it, like the pedal, and may have a little raised part to it. We don't recommend it for a floor, but like if you have a residential bathroom floor and you want to put it on a floor,
that'd be crazy.
It would be crazy, but it would hold up, in my opinion.
Yeah,
a lot stronger than back in the days where 8x8 red body ceramic tile was the kitchen floor tile, right? So the hardness is different. What do you think of this line, Craig?
I think it's neat. I mean, I don't know where in the world you could use I could use something like this. I'm not creative enough, but I think it's neat, and it would be for the right space. You should buy a truckload of it.
So I'm thinking Craig Cahoon's beach house, outdoor shower. You put that rainforest on a wall.
Okay. Yeah, I could. Yeah. I don't.
Let's do it. You got to get an outdoor shower though. Or do you have one?
I've got an outdoor shower at the place.
All right.
I just redid it, but I did it in pressure treated wood. But
cool. The walls are pressure treated wood.
It had some old walls in it. This is way off topic, but it had some old walls in it that I think the previous owners just kind of threw up. So I had to redo the floor because I wanted to get it up off of the cement. And so when I rebuilt the floor, I was like, well, I'll just run these up the wall. Looks nice. It's on my Instagram if you want to look at it. I need to redo the plumbing out there because the shower head had, anything on the coast, it just rusted. And
does it ever get below freezing there?
Actually, this year we had, I think it was 5 inches of snow.
Wow.
So it doesn't stay below freezing very long, but yeah, there was a few days we were there a couple of weeks ago, and it was in the 20s. My daughter and I actually walked out into the intercoastal and did some photography. I like taking pictures, so if you like looking at pictures, follow me on my personal Instagram, which is the same as John's. It's just my name, not his name.
Oh, that's confusing. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. But John, this floral pattern, like you said earlier, it doesn't only come in these big panels. There are other things that we can do with it. And
So
here's a series that I actually did a technical bulletin on this series because of how this stone mosaic is put together. If you don't install it right, you can get some really pretty big gaps between the sheets.
yeah, so this has a lot more history in the tile industry for floral pattern because it's a mosaic. So historically, you can make floral patterns with mosaic, hand clipped, right? Where years ago they weren't able to make a 24 by 48 Polaroid porcelain with floral pattern on it. So this was kind of the old school way of doing something decorative, is in a mosaic. And in this case, it's all marble, and just look at the detail. And what people don't see here, and maybe if we have the bandwidth, we could click on and show people what a sheet looks like. So there you go. So isn't that amazing? When you buy that product, it comes on a sheet that's kind of like one piece of a puzzle. And just think of how the tolerances that are required to make this, because every single sheet is like a puzzle piece, but unlike a puzzle, everyone's the same. So in this case, every sheet is the same, and they perfectly interlock on the left and on the right, the top and the bottom, and they interlock. And Craig, you and I talked about that issue when you have a mosaic that's square or not as fancy as this, and you see the grout joints. What's that called?
Picture framing is what we call it. But one of the things, and you said they fit together seamlessly, and I'll challenge you on that because there's nothing perfect. These are somewhat handmade, and so they're not exact. And when putting this together, like if you want to create this visual here that you see in these top two pictures, you got to be very cautious on how you put these things together. And it's a mosaic. And as we talk about a lot, set expectations. When you have a mosaic, oftentimes you got to manipulate it as an installer, a DIY person. You've got to manipulate these things to make sure they kind of look seamless, but they're not. And as you see, there's no squares here. So there's going to be gaps. And I think that's the reason we put this photo here, is showing how much grout can be in these, the final installation. Nothing wrong with that. But once again, we want to meet those expectations. To get these wildflower petals to interlock together, you're going to have to do a little bit extra work. But even when you do, you're still going to have some larger grout joints. Make sure you're using the right grout, and you've got the right expectations.
Yeah, so it's interesting how our brains work. So when I say seamlessly, I'm thinking the visual. You hear seamlessly, you're like, okay, that sounds like John saying it's really super easy to install. And it is, for the end result, it's easy because you didn't put these tiles down one by one individually, like centuries ago when they put down a mosaic. They didn't mount it on a sheet first. They just cut it and put it on.
That's right.
Install it on the spot. So it looks like this tile was set individually because in the end, you don't see the netting. You see individual tiles. And because it is a floral pattern, it's a more forgiving because you're not going to get like a square frame. So it's very hard to pick up if the grout line is a little different between sheets.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying, Craig. Still, the technique of when two sheets come together, maybe you want to pull off one piece off the sheet and shift it to the left and pull off another piece higher up and shift it to the right. So they kind of melt together a little more so you cannot see where one sheet ends and one sheet begins. It is difficult. This is very forgiving because it's not a straight line. So your eye will not pick up on variations because there's variations within the sheet too.
Yeah. I mean, look, I love that we took the time to mount this and photograph it. I mean, if you know anything about Tile Bar, in my opinion, we've got some of the best visuals of our materials and how it's installed. And we decided to put these pictures up here, which clearly show different size grout joints between petals it clearly shows these really big grout joints that sometimes are not very smooth. You see some pinholes and stuff like that.
Right.
Those are things that if you're a designer and you're picking this out, you want to make sure that you're not being too critical of your installer, and he once again meets those expectations. So we've represented that. I think we've represented this product really well on the website to show actual actual installation and what you can expect from it.
Yes, and it's important for a couple of reasons. First place, it's not only is it a mosaic that is cut and then hand set like into a mold, like a frame where it sticks to the mesh. It's also natural material. This is not a porcelain. So there are inherent variations within that stone that are existing. And now you're taking a curved pattern that's cut into petals, I guess, and putting them together. But that's the beauty of it, is that it has some variation. It's not.
Yeah, look at the range in this one flower here, from the petal here to the petal opposite of it. Same petal, same flower, but the range in color, it goes from almost a light gray to a darker gray to a lighter gray to a lighter gray to a lighter gray. That's natural of Carrara marble, which I think is what that is. And that is part of the beauty of this tile. And when you back up and look at it in context, which is what I tell a lot of our people to do, kind of step back and look at it in context, it looks amazing. When you really get with it with a magnifying glass, I mean, you can point out anything.
Yeah, well, in our industry, and you know this more than I do, if somebody is concerned or disappointed about a tile, there's a standard of how are you looking at this product. Yeah. So if you get on your hands and knees and you look at a tile or anything, you're going to see certain variations, not a defect, that are considered normal. So when you're inspecting a project, I just did this in Manhattan, Craig. I was in connection with you. A customer had an issue with a polished porcelain that looked like when the light was hitting it, you'd see like a little swirly marks. Mm-hmm. You ever see a picture of a black car that's been polished and you see like little swirly marks and circles? So the picture I got from the client was such a close-up of an intense light on this product. Close-up, I couldn't even tell what tile it was. I get to the job and it looked beautiful. But yes, the particular lighting that they had was so intense and so direct. And you're standing over it, you see kind of how the tile was made. Because porcelain tile, it's not a liquid that makes it shiny. It's mechanically polishing it.
Absolutely.
And it was natural. It was normal in the industry to have some sort of visual swirl marks, possibly when the light hits it at a certain angle. And it turned out it was fine. It was not a problem. So in this case, you're looking at natural marble. But when you're looking at a job, you're supposed to be looking at it standing up. If you're looking at a floor.
Right. And I'll just plug our industry partners, the TCNA, who wrote the book on how to install and how to look at stuff. They have a blurb in there, visual inspection of tile, and they tell you the things that you need to do. If you're going to Coverings, I hope to see you in Coverings. They'll have a booth there. Ask as many questions. They are bigger nerds than I am. Also, you got the TCNA who wrote the book, and the NTCA, who's also a partner of ours. And we actually have a training coming up in our warehouse in Burlington, New Jersey on March the 20th. So if you're in that area, register for the NTCA workshop in Burlington, New Jersey. They're bigger tile nerds than the TCNA, and they have a booth at Coverings. And also, who's going to be at Coverings? John and I are, and you should come see us there. Ask all the questions you want, and there's many different ways to approach a project, and this floral design is amazing. And I love, John, that you brought up the mosaic part of that, and you also brought up the large format and how you can bring this biophilic design into your new project.
This has been fun. It's been really cool. I'm looking forward to Coverings Tile Show because there'll be a lot of this product there. This product that looks like cement, product that looks like wood, product that looks like flowers. and even tile that looks like tile. I mean, sometimes tile just looks like tile, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't have to have a look. That could be the look. The white subway tile. What does it look like? Tile. So, yeah. We do this every week. We're glad you joined us. If you have any questions, pop it in the chat, send us a message, drop us an email. Craig and I always get back to people. Any technical questions, aesthetic questions, fan mail, whatever you got. We're here for you. Craig, it's been really cool talking to you about the biophilic tile art. Florals really are a favorite of mine, and mainly because it lets people express themselves in a real creative way using a very hygienic and product that's long lasting and very cost effective, because it does last so long and it takes very little maintenance to maintain it. So we love it compared to wallpaper, right? That could peel
absolutely
and absorb. So this is the Tile Happy Hour. My name is John Tedisco. Craig and I co-host this show. We love it. We're glad you're here. And hopefully we'll see you at coverings. Hopefully we'll see you at some of the local events. And we'll see you next week also on the next episode of the Tile Happy Hour. This is John Tedisco. And I'd like to wish you peace, health, and happiness.
Great show, John. And let's all keep learning together. Reach out to us. Ask us questions. We want to talk to you. And let's tile the world.